The night was quiet on the human colony. Stars shone like silver dust across the black sky, and the wind moved slowly over the dry fields. Most settlers were asleep, their small homes glowing faintly with dim lights. Nothing ever happened here. The planet was far from Earth, far from any war or danger. At least that was what people believed. Then it came. A sound, sharp and burning, cut across the sky. Farmers who were awake looked up and froze. A trail of fire streaked through the darkness, breaking the peace. It was not a star. It was not a falling rock. It was a ship, damaged, breaking apart as it fell. Pieces of metal glowed red, and smoke followed it like a wounded beast. The ship roared across the sky and slammed into the ground far beyond the colony fields. The earth shook and animals ran in fear. For a moment there was silence again. Then alarms began to ring. Lights turned on. Men and women ran outside. Children cried. Everyone asked the same question. What was that? The commander of the colony, Captain Elias, stood tall in the central square. His voice was deep and strong. Stay calm. Gather in groups. Soldiers, with me. They moved toward the crash site. The smell of smoke grew stronger. Trees burned in the distance. A strange green glow rose from the wreck. When they reached the place, the humans stopped. The ship was not human. Its shape was long and curved, like the bones of some great sea creature. Symbols marked its side, glowing faintly as if alive. Sparks jumped from broken wires. The door was half open, twisted from the crash. From inside, a sound came, a weak cry. The soldiers raised their weapons. No one trusted what they could not understand. The sound grew louder, half pain, half fear. Then a figure crawled out. It was a woman, or something like a woman. Her skin was pale silver marked with scars. Her eyes were wide and glowing softly blue. She held two small shapes close to her chest. They were children, small, trembling, with the same glowing eyes. She fell to the ground coughing. The children cried softly. The humans aimed their weapons, unsure. The commander spoke, his voice sharp. Who are you? Why have you come here? The alien woman raised her head. Her voice was broken, heavy with pain, yet clear enough to understand. Please, help me. I beg you, accept me. My children will never fail you. The humans looked at each other. Some whispered in fear. Others shook their heads. No alien had ever landed here before. Most believed aliens were dangerous, enemies of Earth. And yet, here was a mother, not a warrior. Captain Elias frowned. His soldier, Mara, whispered beside him. It could be a trick. She could be a spy. But another man, a farmer named Jonah, stepped forward. He looked at the children, thin, weak, their eyes glowing in the firelight. Do those look like soldiers to you? He asked softly. The woman tried to stand, but her legs gave way. She fell again, her arms tightening around her children. Her voice shook. My world, gone. My people, dead. They will come. They will find me. Please, protect my children. The word struck deep into the humans' hearts. Her people were gone? Who was coming? What danger followed her? The commander took a slow step closer. Why should we trust you? Why should we risk our lives for you? The woman's eyes filled with tears, glowing brighter. Because hope is all I have left, and without you, my children will die. The night grew colder. Smoke rose around them. The soldiers stood, waiting for their captain's order. Would they accept her? Or cast her out to die? Somewhere in the shadows of the burning wreck, a sound echoed, a deep, distant hum. The ground trembled softly, almost like footsteps. The woman's eyes widened in terror. She whispered only one word. They are coming. The humans froze. Whatever had destroyed her people was not far behind. The colony, once silent and safe, would never be the same again. The humans carried the alien woman and her children back to the colony square. The shipwreck burned behind them, sending smoke into the sky. Some wanted to leave her there, but Captain Elias ordered, "Bring her inside. We need answers." The widow's breathing was weak. Her silver skin was cut, glowing faintly under the dim lights of the hall. She sat on the ground, still holding her children close. They hid their faces in her arms, trembling whenever a soldier moved. People gathered around. Farmers, traders, children. Everyone came to see the stranger. Their eyes were full of fear and doubt. Whispers spread quickly. "She's not human. She could be dangerous. Maybe she brings death with her." But some looked with pity. The children were small, no older than 6 or 7 years if compared to human age. Their big glowing eyes looked more innocent than threatening. Captain Elias stood tall in front of the crowd. His voice cut through the noise. "Speak, stranger. Tell us who you are." The widow lifted her head slowly. Her voice was soft but heavy with grief. "My name is Saraya. I am the last of my kind. My world is gone. My people destroyed." A gasp spread through the crowd. Someone shouted, "Lies! She came to spy on us." Another voice, "Don't believe her. Aliens are killers." Saraya's hands tightened around her children. Her eyes shimmered with tears. "I have nothing left. Only them, my sons. If they die, my people die forever." One of the boys peeked from her arms. His small hand touched a broken lamp on the floor. The light flickered, then glowed steady again, as if the child had given it life. Murmurs filled the hall. "What did he just do?" "Did you see that? He fixed it." The widow spoke again, her voice trembling but firm. "They are different, stronger than me. They carry the gifts of my people. They are hope itself." Captain Elias frowned. "If what you say is true, then why come here? Why us?" Saraya looked around, her eyes full of pain. "Because you are human. Long ago, humans fought for survival, and won. You never gave up. My children need that spirit. They need your world to protect them, or they will be hunted until none remain." Her words shook the room. Some humans lowered their weapons, but others grew angrier. A soldier named Mara stepped forward, pointing at the alien woman. "You ask us to risk everything, for what? For children who aren't even ours?" Saraya raised her chin, her voice breaking with emotion. "They can be yours, if you accept them. They will never fail you. They will fight for you as their own." Her children looked up at that moment. Their glowing eyes shone with a strange light, half fear, half promise. Jonah, the farmer who had spoken earlier, stepped forward again. His hands were rough from years of work, but his voice was gentle. "Look at them, they are not soldiers. They're just children. Would you cast out children to die?" The hall grew silent. But then, a low rumble shook the walls. The sound was distant, but strong enough to make the floor vibrate. People panicked, looking around. Saraya's face turned pale. She whispered in terror, "They have found me." Captain Elias turned sharply. "Who?" Saraya's voice was like ice. "The ones who killed my people. The ones who destroyed my world. They will not stop until they destroy my sons. And if you shelter us, they will come for you too." The crowd erupted. Fear and anger filled the hall. Some shouted, "Send her away!" Others cried, "Protect the children!" Elias raised his hand, silencing them. He looked into Saraya's glowing eyes. For the first time, he saw not a monster but a mother, weak, wounded, begging for her children's lives. "Saraya," he said slowly, "if we help you, will you help us? Will your children stand with us if danger comes?" Her tears fell, shining in the light. "They will. They must. It is their destiny. Accept us, and we will never fail you." The commander's jaw tightened. He had to choose Trust her and risk the colony, or cast her out and live with the guilt of killing the last hope of a dying race. Before he could answer, another tremor shook the ground, this time louder, this time closer. The children clung to their mother. Fear filled every human heart in the room. Soraya's voice cracked as she cried out, "Decide quickly, for they are already here." The night outside roared with a sound like thunder. The enemy had arrived. The night was restless in the colony. People could not sleep. The crash, the alien widow, the strange children, all of it felt like the beginning of something dangerous. The ground still shook from distant rumbles. Yet, inside the hall, Captain Elias kept watch. He allowed Soraya and her children a corner to rest. Those soldiers never lowered their weapons. The children did not cry anymore. They sat quietly, their glowing eyes watching everything. Soraya whispered softly to them in her strange tongue. The sound was like a lullaby, full of sorrow but also strength. Morning came. The sun on this planet was pale, never truly warm, but it painted the colony in weak gold. The settlers gathered again, whispering about the alien family. Fear was heavy in their hearts. Jonah, the farmer, noticed something first. His crops had been dying for weeks. Soil was dry, leaves turning brown. But when he walked past the hall, that morning he froze. Small green shoots had appeared in the dirt near the door, fresh, alive, glowing faintly as if touched by unseen light. He stared. "That's impossible," he whispered. The truth revealed itself soon after. The alien children wandered outside, their mother close behind. Wherever their bare feet touched the soil, small sparks of life followed. Grass grew, flowers opened, even insects stirred awake. The settlers gasped in wonder. One of the soldiers muttered, What are they?" Soraya held her children close, her voice steady. "They are hope, the future. Their gifts come from the core of my people. They heal what is broken. They bring life where death has walked." The crowd did not know whether to fear or believe. Some fell silent, amazed. Others whispered angrily, "Tricks, witchcraft." But then, another strange thing happened. Inside the workshop, a machine had been broken for months. Its engine was dead, wires melted. No one could repair it. Spare parts were too rare. The younger alien boy, curious, walked inside. His glowing hands touched the cold metal. Slowly, light spread across the machine. Sparks danced gently. Within moments, the engine hummed alive. The machine roared back to life as if reborn. The workers stared with wide eyes. "By the stars, he fixed it. He fixed it without tools." The boy only smiled shyly, stepping back to his mother's side. Soraya looked at Captain Elias. "You see now. They are not weapons. They are healers, builders. My sons carry the strength of a people who loved life, not death." Elias remained silent. His eyes narrowed, torn between wonder and caution. But not all were impressed. Mara, the soldier who never trusted Soraya, raised her voice sharply. "Or maybe this is how it begins. They show miracles, and then they bring death. You would let them live among us? Look at them. They are not human." Fear spread again. Whispers grew louder. Some nodded at Mara's words. Others shook their heads. Jonah stepped forward. His voice was calm but firm. "I saw it. My land was dying. This morning, green returned. If that is danger, then maybe we need more of it, not less." The settlers looked between them, divided. Soraya knelt before the humans, her children beside her. Her silver skin caught the weak sunlight, her voice filled with desperate hope. "Please. My children were born not to conquer but to protect. But if you turn us away, the hunters will come, and they will not stop at us. They will destroy you too." Elias stared at her. He wanted to believe, but a commander's heart, could not trust so easily. "Why should we risk the lives of this colony for you?" he asked again. Saraya's answer was simple. "Because your lives and mine are already tied. They know I am here. If I die, they will still come. And they will take this world from you. Only together can we stand." Before Elias could respond, a sudden cry came from the guard tower. A soldier shouted down to the square, "Commander, unidentified ships at the edge of orbit. They're here." The colony froze. Children clung to their parents. Weapons were loaded. Fear filled every chest. Saraya's face turned pale. She pulled her sons close. "They will not stop. They will burn your homes like they burned mine. But my children, they can help you. Trust them, and you may survive. Reject us, and you will fall." Her younger son lifted his glowing hand again. This time, his small fingers lit the air like sparks of fire. The crowd gasped, some stepping back in awe, others in terror. The silence was broken by the steady, growing roar from the sky. The enemy had arrived. Captain Elias looked at his people. He looked at Saraya and her children. His heart battled between doubt and duty. Would the humans embrace this strange gift, or cast it aside and face destruction alone? The answer had to come soon, for the storm was already here. The sky turned red as the enemy ships broke through. The clouds, they were dark and sharp, shaped like blades cutting across the air. Their engines screamed, shaking the ground. The colonists stood frozen, fear gripping their hearts. From the watchtower, the guard shouted again, "5 ships! No, 6! They are circling above!" The people panicked. Mothers pulled their children close. Farmers grabbed whatever tools they had, though they knew tools would not stop ships of war. Soldiers raised their rifles, eyes hard but unsure. Captain Elias stood in the square, his jaw tight. "Everyone inside the shelters. Soldiers with me." But before the people could move, the ships slowed. They hovered above the colony like predators, watching prey. Then beams of light cut down through the clouds. Shadows moved inside the glow. Figures appeared, tall, armored, their skin dark like stone. Their weapons gleamed with a cruel red light. Saraya gasped, her eyes filled with terror. "They are here. The Karen, the destroyers of my people." The soldiers aimed their rifles. Elias stepped forward, shouting up at the nearest figure, "This is human territory. Leave now." A deep, cold laugh echoed from above. The leader of the Karen lowered his weapon slowly. His voice was like metal grinding against stone. "Humans, you hide what belongs to us. Surrender the widow and her spawn, and we will spare your pitiful homes." The crowd gasped. Whispers spread like fire. "They only want her. If we give her, maybe they will leave." Mara, the soldier who distrusted Saraya from the start, stepped forward. Her voice was sharp. "Commander, maybe we should hand them over. Why risk everyone for them?" Saraya's face turned pale. She clutched her children tightly, her voice breaking. "Please, no. If you give us away, they will kill us. And after that, they will kill you. That is what they do. That is all they know." Her younger son pressed his glowing hand against her chest, as if trying to comfort her. The older one stood tall, his eyes locked on the Karen above. He did not tremble. Jonah, the farmer, shouted across the crowd, "Have you not seen what the children can do? They gave us life. They fixed our machines. And now you would throw them away?" The people argued, voices rising in chaos. Some cried for mercy, some for resistance. The Karen leader raised his hand. The ships above shifted, weapons glowing. "You have 1 hour," he growled. "Surrender the widow and her spawn, or burn." The beams of light vanished. The enemy rose higher, circling the colony like vultures waiting to strike. The crowd turned on Captain Elias. "What do we do?" "Save us, Captain. Don't risk our children for theirs." Elias raised his hands, his voice strong. "Silence." The crowd fell quiet, though fear still shook their hearts. Elias turned to Soraya. Tell me, why do they want your children? Soraya's eyes glistened with sorrow. Because my sons carry the last gifts of my people. The Karen fear what they do not understand. They killed us because we created, while they only destroy. If they kill my children, hope will die forever. If they capture them, they will twist them into weapons. The hall went silent. The truth was clear. Surrender meant death anyway. Jonah spoke again, his voice steady. Captain, we cannot run. If they attack, we must fight. But we cannot fight alone. We need the widow and her children. We need their gifts. Elias's mind raced. His duty was to protect his people, but the enemy was too strong. Ordinary weapons would not stop them. Maybe, just maybe, Soraya's children could. He looked at them. The older boy's eyes glowed like fire. The younger's hand sparked with light. They were small, but their presence carried strength beyond their size. Soraya, Elias said slowly, if we choose to fight, will your children stand with us? Her voice cracked, but her answer was firm. They will. They are afraid, but they will not run. They know what is at stake. The older boy stepped forward, his small voice strong. If we do nothing, they will win. We must fight. The crowd gasped. A child speaking with such courage. It struck their hearts deeply. Mara lowered her weapon slowly, shame in her eyes. Maybe we were wrong. Elias turned to his people. His voice thundered through the square. We are not surrendering. This is our home. If they want a war, we give them one. And we will not fight alone. We fight with Soraya and her children. The crowd roared, half in fear, half in courage. Tools were gathered, weapons prepared, defenses strengthened. For the first time, humans and aliens stood together. But high above, the Karen ships waited like wolves around a campfire. Their hour was almost over. The storm was coming. The colony stood, battered but alive. The battlefield was scarred, but the people were not broken. Elias looked at Soraya and her children. His voice was rough but filled with pride. You saved us all. Without you, we would already be ashes. The widow's eyes shone with tears. She whispered, we fought together. That is why we live. The humans gathered around the children, no longer with suspicion but with gratitude. For in their glowing eyes, they saw not danger, but the promise of survival. Yet far beyond the stars in the dark corners of space, the Karen were already planning their return. And this time they would not come alone. Smoke still hung over the colony. The battlefield was silent except for the crackle of burning wood and the soft moans of the wounded. Bodies of fallen Karen lay scattered outside the barricades, their red weapons dim, their threat finally broken, at least for now. The humans stood together, bruised, bloodied, but alive. They had fought harder than they ever thought possible. Ordinary farmers, mechanics, and settlers had stood against a war machine, and they had survived. At the center of the square, Captain Elias raised his rifle high. His voice, rough from shouting, carried through the crowd. We are still here. We stood as one, and we are still here. The colonists erupted in cheers. For the first time in days, their voices rose not in fear, but in victory. But when the cheering faded, eyes turned to Soraya and her children. They stood quietly near the broken barricade, glowing softly in the evening light. The boys looked tired, their eyes dimmer than before, but they stood tall, unshaken. Mara, the soldier who once doubted them, walked forward. She dropped her weapon at their feet and knelt. I was wrong about you. Without you, we would all be dead. Forgive me. The older boy placed a glowing hand on her shoulder. His voice was calm, almost gentle. You are forgiven. We are family now. The words struck deep into every heart. Whispers moved through the crowd. Family. Not strangers. Not outsiders. Family. Jonah the farmer stepped up beside them, his voice carrying. They are not just her children anymore. They are ours too. And together, we will make this world strong. The colonists nodded one by one. Fear that once divided them was gone. In its place stood trust, forged in blood and fire. Soraya's eyes filled with tears. She looked at her sons, then at the humans who surrounded them. Her voice trembled with gratitude. I asked you to accept us. You did. More. You fought for us. Now whatever comes, we fight for you. The crowd roared again, louder than before. The widow's plea had become a promise. That night the colony was alive with hope. Fires were put out, walls repaired, and the wounded healed. Songs rose in the streets, songs of survival and unity. Children laughed again, playing among the ruins. Even in destruction, life returned, but not everyone slept easy. Captain Elias stood on the wall staring at the stars. His face was hard, his mind heavy. Mara joined him, leaning on her rifle. They'll come back, she said quietly. Elias nodded. Yes, the Karen won't forget this. They'll bring more ships, more soldiers. This battle was only the beginning. He looked at the stars again. Somewhere out there the enemy gathered, planning, waiting. But next time, Elias continued, we won't face them as just humans. We'll face them as one people, humans and Soraya's children, side by side. Mara smiled faintly. One people. I like the sound of that. Down in the square, the younger boy sat with Jonah. He traced patterns in the dirt with his glowing finger, and wherever he touched, tiny sprouts grew. Jonah laughed, shaking his head. Keep this up and we'll never go hungry again. The older boy practiced with the soldiers, holding his shield of light until sweat poured down his face. The soldiers clapped him on the back, treating him, not as an outsider, but as one of their own. And Soraya, she watched them all with quiet pride. Her people were gone, her world destroyed, but here, among humans, she saw something she thought she had lost forever. A future. As the night deepened, she stood beside Elias on the wall. Her voice was soft, but full of strength. My husband died trying to protect our world. I thought I had lost everything, but tonight, I see that hope is still alive. In my children, in your people, in all of us. Elias looked at her, then at the glowing children below. Then we hold on to it. Whatever comes next, we hold on to hope. The stars shimmered above, distant and cold. But for the first time, the colony did not feel alone beneath them. They had fought, they had survived, and they had found something greater than survival, unity. Still, in the darkness beyond the stars, unseen eyes watched. The Karen were not finished. Their defeat here was only a wound, not a death. And other enemies, greater and darker, stirred in the void. The war for survival was far from over. But for now, in this small colony, hope had taken root, and hope once planted could never be destroyed. The hour passed like a heartbeat. The Karen ships circled above, waiting for the humans to surrender the widow and her children. Fear spread across the colony, but under Captain Elias's command, preparations began. Barricades were built with wood, steel, and farming tools. Old weapons were cleaned. Families hid in underground shelters. Soldiers checked rifles with trembling hands. At the center of it all stood Soraya and her sons. Their glowing eyes followed every movement. Some humans avoided looking at them. Others whispered prayers, hoping the children's strange gifts could save them. Jonah the farmer carried crates of supplies to the barricades. As he passed the alien family, he paused. He knelt to the younger boy's level and spoke softly. Are you afraid? The boy nodded. His glowing hands shook. Jonah placed his rough hand on the child's shoulder. We all are. But courage means standing even when you are afraid. If you stand with us, we will stand with you. The boy gave a small smile. For the first time, he looked less like an alien, and more like a child who belonged. But not everyone shared Jonah's faith. Mara the soldier pulled Captain Elias aside. Her voice was low but sharp. Commander, I still don't trust them. What if this is their plan? What if the Karen attack and the children turn on us? We'll be finished. Elias's eyes were hard. I've seen their mother's fear. It was real. No spy can fake that, and you saw what the children did. We need them. Mara clenched her fists, but she said no more. Then the sky broke open. The Karen descended, weapons glowing with red fire. Their leader's voice thundered across the colony. Your time is over, humans. Surrender the widow or be destroyed. Elias stepped forward onto the barricade. His voice was strong, carrying across the square. This is our home. We do not surrender. If you want her, you'll have to take us all. A heavy silence followed. Then the Karen roared with laughter. Then you will burn. The first blast struck. Fire exploded against the barricades. The ground shook. Screams filled the air. The battle had begun. Humans fired rifles, their bullets weak against the enemy's armor. Sparks flew as the Karen marched forward, unstoppable. Panic spread through the defenders. Then, something unexpected happened. The older alien boy ran to the barricade. He raised his hands, his eyes, glowing brighter than ever. A thin shield of light spread across the front line. The next blast struck it and deflected. The soldiers froze, staring in shock. The boy shouted, his small voice breaking through the noise. Keep fighting. I will protect you. Elias's heart swelled with pride. He turned to his soldiers. You heard him. Stand your ground. The defenders roared, firing again. This time their bullets hit true as the boy's shield forced the Karen to slow their march. Meanwhile, the younger son moved among the wounded. Wherever he placed his glowing hands, cuts closed and bleeding stopped. Soldiers who had fallen rose again, stronger. The settlers watched in awe. The alien children, once feared, were now their lifeline. Jonah shouted, Do you see? They fight for us. They are with us. The crowd's fear turned into courage. Farmers grabbed tools, throwing themselves into the fight. Even children passed, water and supplies to the front lines. Soraya stood tall, her voice ringing across the battlefield. Do not fear them. Together we are stronger. The Karen leader growled, enraged. He charged forward, swinging his weapon with crushing force. Elias met him head-on, rifle in hand. Their clash shook the barricade, sparks flying with every strike. The older alien boy's shield flickered. He cried out, struggling to hold it. The enemy's power was too great. Hold on, Elias shouted. The boy fell to his knees, but his brother ran to him. Together, their hands touched, and the shield blazed brighter than ever, an unbreakable wall of light. The Karen were thrown back in shock. For the first time, the humans saw fear in their enemies' eyes. The battle raged on. The humans, fueled by hope, pushed forward. With every strike, every healed wound, their trust in the children grew stronger. By the time the sun dipped low, the Karen retreated to their ships, snarling with rage. Their leader shouted from the sky, This is not the end. We will return, and when we do, nothing will save you. The ships vanished into the clouds, leaving behind smoke and silence. The humans collapsed in exhaustion. Some cried, some laughed. Against all odds, they had survived. Elias looked at Soraya and her sons. His voice was heavy but full of respect. You did not fail us. You saved us. Today we stood as one. Soraya's eyes filled with tears. She whispered, And tomorrow, the fight will be harder. But now, you see why I came. The humans looked at the children, heroes in small glowing bodies. For the first time, they were not seen as strangers. They were seen as hope. But above, beyond the clouds, the enemy gathered again, and this time, they would not come alone. Tikku. Days after the first clash were heavy with tension. The Karen had retreated, but everyone knew they would return. The colony worked without rest, repairing barricades, digging trenches, and strengthening weapons. Fear still lived in their hearts, but now it walked hand in hand with something new. Hope. At the center of this fragile hope were Soraya's sons. The older boy trained with the soldiers, learning how to focus his shield of light. The younger one stayed near the infirmary, healing the sick and wounded. Wherever they went, people followed them with awe. Even Mara, the soldier who had doubted them most, could not deny the truth. She watched the boys with quiet eyes, then finally admitted to Captain Elias. I was wrong. They're not our enemy. They're the reason we're still alive. Elias nodded, but his face was hard. And we will need them again. The next attack will be worse. He was right. One cold evening, the sky tore open once more. This time, not 6, but 12 Karen ships descended, their shadows swallowing the colony in darkness. Their leader's voice thundered through the air. Fools, you defied us once, but no shield will save you now. Prepare to be erased. Crete. Ground shook as waves of armored Karen poured from the ships. Their weapons burned with red fire, their footsteps heavy like drums of war. The humans braced at the barricades. Elias raised his rifle. His voice carried across the lines. This is our home. We do not surrender. We fight together. The roar of the colonists answered him. Soldiers, farmers, and even children ready to help, all united. Then, the storm fell. Blasts of fire rained from the skies, smashing into walls, tearing through defenses. Screams filled the air. The Karen marched forward, unstoppable. The older alien boy stepped onto the front line. His eyes blazed, and with a cry, he raised his hands. A dome of light spread over the colony, shielding the people from the first wave of fire. Explosions struck, but the shield held. Hold strong, Elias shouted. The soldiers fired, bullets raining against the Karen armor. Farmers hurled stones, fire, and steel. The enemy slowed, but they did not stop. Inside the shield, the younger boy ran from soldier to soldier, glowing hands mending wounds, giving strength to the weak. Each life saved gave the humans courage, but the Karen leader laughed, lifting a massive weapon. A blast of red energy struck the shield and cracks spread like spiderwebs. The boy cried out, his knees buckling. Soraya rushed to her son's side, holding him up. You are strong, my child. Do not give in. The boy's brother grabbed his hand. Together their glow intensified. The cracks vanished, the shield burning brighter than ever. The Karen staggered back in shock. For the first time, the humans pushed forward. Elias charged with his soldiers, firing point blank. Mara swung her blade into an enemy soldier, sparks flying. Jonah the farmer fought with a heavy tool, his strength fueled by rage and hope. The colonists, once ordinary settlers, fought like warriors. But the Karen were many. Their leader cut through defenders like fire through paper, his weapon striking with deadly force. He moved toward the children, his red eyes blazing. They are mine, he roared. Elias intercepted him, blocking the path. Their weapons clashed, sparks exploding. The commander fought with every ounce of strength, but the enemy was powerful, each strike forcing him back. Children, run, Elias shouted. But the older boy shook his head. No, we fight with you. He raised his hands again, unleashing a wave of light that blinded the enemy soldiers. The younger boy pressed his hands into the ground, and suddenly, vines and roots burst from the soil, wrapping around the legs of the invaders. The battlefield turned into chaos. The Karen screamed as the earth itself rebelled against them. Humans took the chance, striking down their trapped foes. The enemy leader broke free, his rage unshakable. He swung his weapon at Elias, striking hard. Elias fell, blood on his lips. The humans cried out in despair. Soraya screamed, her voice cutting through the battle. She knelt by Elias, her hands trembling. You cannot die here. Not when hope is so close. Her sons placed their glowing hands on him. Light surged through his body. Wounds closed, breath returned. Elias rose again, stronger than before. The sight of it filled the colonists with fire. They surged forward, shouting in one voice, For our home! For our children! Together, humans and the alien family struck as one. The enemy broke. The shield of light expanded, pushing the Karen back. One by one, their ships faltered, engines failing under the strange power of the children. The leader roared in fury, retreating as his soldiers fell. This is not the end. You cannot stop what is coming. With a final blast, the Karen ships fled into the night sky, leaving only smoke and silence behind.